Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're doing everything right. You're grinding, you're staying busy, crossing things off the list. But no matter what you do, you just don't feel like your life is moving in the direction that you want it to, or you just don't feel like you're getting enough out of it for the amount of effort that you're putting into everything. On top of that, your money isn't growing, your energy is kind of a mess, and then your goals, personally and professionally, just keep getting pushed to later. On top of all of that, the people that you love the most, they're just getting leftovers from you. And that's really frustrating above everything else. Look, it's not because you're lazy. The reality is you're just practicing these different habits that feel productive and feel like they're contributing to your success. But in reality, they're just making you broke in time, energy, attention, money, and soul. So let's talk about these 5 things that feel like they're something that we should be doing and that are contributing to our success, but in reality are just preventing you from building the life that you actually want. The first habit hits people really hard, but this is the truth. You just keep saying yes to everything that makes you feel needed. But here's the thing. Every yes equals 100 no's. So we have to be careful with what we are saying yes to because it's taking away your time, energy, and attention from your actual goals. People don't always get stuck just because they want more. A lot of times they're just getting stuck because they don't protect what actually matters to them. And a lot of times they haven't even really thought through what truly does matter to them. The fastest way to get wealthy, both in life and with money, is to get clarity on what you want and then to say no more than you say yes. This next habit is an absolute poison to society, and that is confusing busyness with progress. Did you know that if you walk in a desert and you don't have a compass or any type of markers, what's going to end up happening is that you will walk in a circle? Well, that's true of what's happening in our lives right now. We are more busy than we've ever been. We've got emails and messages coming through and doom scrolling and kids that need stuff and all of these different things. But without a destination and some type of markers along the way to give us direction, we're just going to end up going in circles. And the worst part about all of it is that in the moment, it feels good. It feels productive. But in reality, it's just distraction that's wearing a suit. And it's real easy to know if you're living this way because you're broke on focus, you're broke on peace, and you don't really know where all of this is heading. You can't say it in a simple sentence. One of the easiest ways to figure out if something is a distraction or if it's truly moving you to what matters is just asking the question, is this moving me closer to my destination or is it just keeping me busy? 2 other questions that I really like to ask in this scenario is, if I stop doing this right now, would anything meaningful break? And then the other one is, would future me thank me for doing this right now? So the third habit is actually tied into the first 2 because you need clarity in order to really sort those out. But the third habit is the fact that most people are avoiding clarity because it's uncomfortable. I have coached hundreds of people, and most people's excuse for not doing something is because they truly believe they don't have time. But that's not true. They're actually just stuck and scared of the truth. That's because one of my favorite things to ask people, what do you want, is a very dangerous question. Because if you answer it honestly, you're going to end up losing all of your excuses. So what most people end up doing is they just ignore it altogether and they never define the destination of what it is that they actually want. And then they just keep staying busy and doing all of this productive procrastination, and it really just doesn't get them anywhere worth being. But here's the beautiful reason why you need to get clarity on these things. It's going to make 80% of these distractions immediately go away. And that's going to free up so much time, energy, attention, and money for you to be able to invest in the things that you do want. But the saddest thing about this habit isn't just the fact that you can't be productive without clarity, but it's the thing that actually ends up killing dreams. The next habit is the fact that a lot of people are just out here living lives like their energy is totally unlimited, but they're not a robot. And most people just end up trying to outwork their problems instead of outthink them. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, Steven, I don't know what you're talking about with that one, because when my head hits the pillow at night, I'm totally exhausted. I never feel like I have enough energy. But the reality is that's not how a lot of us are living, because if you do an instant replay of your day, what do most of us see? We end up ignoring sleep. We have a sleep pandemic that is literally going on in this world right now. We hit caffeine like it's a personality trait. How do you like your caffeine? I like my caffeine in this dark brown liquid. I like it in a bright red liquid. I prefer it in pill form. I prefer it in chocolate form. I mean, it's hilarious, the discussions we could have around how we love to take our favorite drug, caffeine. On top of that, we stretch ourselves thin in every single direction in all elements of our life. And when you look at that, Yes, we think that if you ask somebody, oh, do you have unlimited energy? They're going to be like, of course not. But then you look at how they're living their life and we treat it like we are. And that's the big disconnect. And then to bring it all full circle, what do we just end up wishing? That we had more time and energy in the day just to get more things done. We think that that's the solution to helping us build something more meaningful, when in reality, it really wouldn't change much unless we change all these other things. Your energy is one of the most precious resources that you have, which is why your health is so important. And guess what? If you're going to spend it stupidly, then life's going to cost you a lot more than you think. And this last habit is one of the most frustrating ones. It's about learning constantly and applying almost nothing. This is the education trap. You think you need more books, more podcasts, more courses, more conferences, when in reality, you're starving for execution, not knowledge. See, knowledge minus action equals theory. Learning feels safe. Doing feels risky. I was at a conference one time and the speaker actually said this to people. He said, a lot of you don't even need to hear anything I'm about to say. You need to leave this room right now and go do the things that you already know that you need to do. And a lot of times, that's how we live our lives. We actually know enough to go ahead and get started and take those next steps, but we don't want to. We just want to continue to productively procrastinate because then we don't have to risk failing. I know some really broke professors and I know some really dumb millionaires, but the reality is that real wealth comes from action. And here's the ironic thing about all of this. The best way to learn actually comes from doing, not from knowing. That's why these 5 habits are so dangerous, because they look good and responsible on the outside at first glance. But the reality is they're going to break you on the inside, and then they're going to break your bank account on top of it. When you get clarity on what you want and you have defined the destination, where it is that you are going to go with your life, all of a sudden your time, energy, attention, money, and soul are going to align, and that clarity is going to push you forward into doing things that are consistently productive, not just things that make you look busy.